One Focus Radio.
Welcome to the show, it's Dyer's Daily. Keeping in the know, it's Dyer's Daily. We've got chat, we've got discussion, nice and slow, ain't no rushing. Reading emails and events, sometimes he makes no sense. It's time to start the show, it's Dyer's Daily. He'll be there in a mo, it's Dyer's Daily. We've got plays, we've got interviews, even stuff that's in the news. Local and otherwise, come and try it on for size, it's Dyer's Daily.
Hello and welcome to the Dyer's Daily podcast for Monday the 10th of December 2018. Today we're talking about tradition in seeing people and family and communication, autism, all these things and more in just a moment. I think it's another rambly one if I'm honest with you. But first, let's have a listen to some other podcasts that are out there. Okay, out there as in, out there in the world. Okay, right, let's push play on this thing. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Have you ever been reading through a stack of comics and thought, maybe I should see what this Arkham Asylum game is all about? Or been playing Marvel vs. Capcom and felt like you were at a real disadvantage since you didn't know who half the characters were? Well, Play Comics is the show for you. I'm Chris, and each episode we take a look at video games based on comic properties and how well they stick to that source material. So whether you know the comics and want to know how all these games work, or you know the games and want to find out where all this craziness came from, go check out Play Comics at playcomics.com or wherever you find your favorite podcasts.
So it'll be like, I'll be like, hey, and then you guys will be like, hi. Like, and I'll be like, we are the Drunk Detectives.
Mm-hmm. Meat and
all right.
Potatoes.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hi. Hi.
We are the Drunk Detectives. We are a true crime comedy podcast.
So we're funny. Sometimes.
So we pair handcrafted signature cocktails with cold, bloody, unsolved murder. We release a new episode every Sunday, and you can find us on the Apple Podcast app, on Google Play Music, Stitcher Radio, and Radio Public. Or you can follow us at www.thedrunkdetectives.com.
Bye.
Bye.
Dyer's Daily.
Happy Monday, dear listener, and a slightly shorter episode, and certainly staying with that length throughout the rest of December, simply because time and money and place and all that sort of thing that occurs. You just get called here and called there, and it just goes mad in December. It's like people who would never normally speak to you the other 11 months of the year suddenly crawl out from somewhere and go, Merry Christmas to you. Hope you've had a great year. And it's like, well, you might have known that had you been there, but you always strive for some people anyway, that the next year you're going to see them more. Does it happen? Well, I can't say anything at this stage because it can be quite a tricky thing, because schedules and things like that, and sometimes when you're in a loop, you do find it difficult to get out of it. It can take you years. You kind of have to do it one step at a time. You say, well, if I move this, then I might be able to do that. And you have to kind of do it one step at a time. Easy does it sort of thing. But Christmas, as people will know, I have Asperger's syndrome, a form of autism, and I do find it difficult sometimes with communication. Well, I say that, and that is a kind of something that's perceived to be, and it's supposed to be a communicational thing, and I've been officially diagnosed, but one trick I've found, and if anybody is listening here who's thinking, well, I have trouble with this, I have been conducting interviews for years, and I've always found it quite easy to talk to people in an interview situation because it's set up. So whenever I get put into a communication situation, a time when you have to really think about it, and when you have to face someone and have a conversation with them for more than 2 seconds, you kind of think of it, I think of everything as an interview. You know, I go and order something at a bar, it's an interview. I go and speak to somebody somewhere, it's an interview. Everything is an interview, even my own family, because it's just question, answer, question, answer. Once you've got that in your head, you can pretty much do anything, because in some cases, you often appear, in my case anyway, you appear more confident than you actually are. They think, wow, he's suddenly got a very confident. No, it's because I'm playing the role of an interviewer. You know, that's kind of what you do. And someone once told me when dealing with actual job interviews, it was broadcaster Ian Lee actually who told me that when you step out of the car, you step off the bus, and you basically become an actor. So you go into the interview acting as a person who wants to be confident, who is confident, who can really push forward and do it. My only flaw with that is, how do you carry that on for the rest of time? Because if you go in going, yeah, I can do this, I can do that, I'm extremely confident, and then the first day you're completely, you know, you're so nervous that you can't keep up that charade, then they're going to wonder who they've employed. That's just my 2 cents on it. That's my opinion. But what's your opinion on this? I mean, should we be putting on facades, or should we just be coming out and going, actually, do you know what? I am scared to death of this communication situation. I find speaking to you incredibly difficult, and I know that you want to meet up in the next 12 months or so, but we both know that this is not going to happen. But we can all hope, can't we? We can all hope, because over the course of a year, you build up certain traditions and certain things. Over the course of 5 years, again, those traditions become more commonplace. Sometimes seeing them once a year is part of the tradition. Trying to break it or trying to do it more makes it seem like it's not great. You know, you think, oh no, I don't think I want to, because I normally only see them once or twice a year, or in passing in the street. So it is very, very difficult. So if anyone is out there thinking, oh, well, they don't want to see me, it's not they don't want to see you, it's that at the moment you're probably part of their usual routine, seeing you once a year. All you have to do is find a way of breaking that cycle without spooking them, without freaking them out, thinking, well, if I bring you in, I've got to take something out. It's like being on a football team, isn't it? You can't put another guy on the field without taking somebody off. That's kind of how it works, certainly in sport. Anyway, we've gone incredibly rambly again. But what do you think? What do you think about any of this? Do you have kind of people you see once a year? Would you like to see them more? I personally would, but I just wonder how everyone would be able to fit in their schedules, because if it's not there under normal circumstances, then how are you going to do that? You give up a little bit more of your time. You have to sacrifice it elsewhere. And that can be kind of difficult, because in families, and certainly with friends, you have groups of friends and family groups, and you don't want to upset the politics. Because have you ever been to see someone and then somebody related to them goes, well, they never come to see me? Well, sense would say, why don't you see them all together? That would make sense. But then, of course, you have different conversations with different people, and it gets very tricky, which I don't know. I'm not supposed to be able to understand any of this communication stuff. I'm supposed to be a little bit clueless on it. I try and learn all the time. Occasionally I make mistakes. Occasionally I can't read on a situation. But then other times I'm so sensitive to the situation that I end up not wanting to put myself through it. So, I don't know whether I'm busting a myth or going towards a stereotype. I'm not sure. Someone will have to tell me out there in the autism community or the mental health community, somebody in some community somewhere. As I say, the podcast today is a little bit shorter, but it makes it just a little bit easier to handle. It actually means I can squash more in, more good stuff in without kind of padding it out, as it were. So, anyway, speaking of padding it out, we're going to, bring this podcast to an end. But thank you very much for listening to today's edition of Dyer's Daily. Please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe on your favourite podcast provider. My name's been Jamie Dyer. It always will be. Thank you very much for listening once again. Have a great day, and I shall see you tomorrow, same time, same place, on the Dyer's Daily Podcast. Have a good day.